Hi, welcome to the Pretty Intense podcast. Today on the show is Mark Groves. He's a speaker, writer, and motivator. I've been following his work for years. He talks about relationships from all perspectives. Today I tried to get into some spaces maybe that I hadn't seen videos on. Like if you want to know about gaslighting and if you want to know about ghosting and things like that, like he's got videos. So we got into some different stuff. We got into some masculine and feminine. We got into some purpose. We got into what the role of a male and female is. We got into, and then like at the end, we started talking about stuff that's really just more curiosities that he has within himself. But the funny thing is, and this is why I gotta listen to the whole thing, is that there is no separation between the work on the self and the work on anything else. And like our world will change when we change. And so we just talked about all of those interesting ways and how we can change within ourselves and ways that we can do it. And then of course how that may show up in our world and maybe some of the areas that need it most. So I had a lot of fun with this episode. And of course, if you love this podcast, please hit subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you want to hear more about.
Hey, nice. A little blast from the past. You get to hang out at home.
You know, I guess maybe the happy and sad thing is that I've spent many, many months here. I've had to recover from many, many heartbreaks. I've just spent many months here. So I like truly have my own room here and my own stuff. But I guess it's good that you have somewhere you can go, right?
Totally. Every time I go back home, I'm always just, it's nice to know that you have a place to land if you need it. And I've spent a few heartbreaks with my mom. She's like, do you want a sandwich? What do you need? And I'm like, I'm not hungry, I feel like...
miserable. I've been there. Where mom's like, you have to eat. I'm like, I don't deserve to eat. It's so sad. She's like, you have to eat something, which is like rare for me. I'm one of those people that can just like, no matter what, I don't forget to eat. Heartbreak. That's a bitch. Those are a bitch.
They really are, especially how much they affect our appetite. I think shame, pain, all that kind of stuff just makes it so we don't want to eat. And, our gut isn't exactly at the time being like, well, maybe chocolate or ice cream might suit it a little bit, but. Generally we're just kind of caught in the middle of the morose nature of it, ruminating, catastrophizing, and trying to make it make sense.
I didn't think we'd start at heartbreak, but we're here, so why not? What is it? What is it about? Maybe we start with attachment, because it's just. I've been having this conversation with my girlfriends for years about.
I failed all of my classes in high school and I ended up dropping. I also scored in the night.
The difference between being attached in a friendship and being attached in a relationship. And how, personally, if a friend does not serve me or they suck up your energy and are full of problems and not solutions and just don't have the same wavelength of thinking and living, I'm happy to let that go. I'm happy to let that back in too, as that both of those scenarios have happened. But there's this really challenging attachment with relationships where it just feels so painful when it's ending, or there's so much abandonment, whether it's self or other throughout it, of emotions. Why is it that we can't approach a relationship similarly to a friendship?
Yeah, it's interesting that we don't tend to have the same level of discernment, or even sometimes the same standards that we would have for a friendship we don't even have for our romantic relationships. I think there's so much more going on. We're not just attached to the person, which could be a really healthy thing. It's healthy to be able to depend on people and know that when things are going awry in life that you've got someone you can lean on. I mean, that's a part of healthy relating. It's just when your relationship is something that completes you that you are then left, or perceptually left, incomplete if it ends. You add to that we are also very attached to relational outcomes. And I wouldn't say that's only because there's something nice about having stability and knowing what the future might be. There's that sort of quells our anxieties, and we can maybe predict that tomorrow morning will be a little more reliable or predictable, assuming our relationship will still be there. It's destabilizing, and that's why when people fight, one of the worst things you can do is put the relationship on the line. Like, if this doesn't happen, I'm leaving. If, or I'm going right now, or this is over. If that's a tactic that we use relationally, there's no psychological safety. And when I say the future might be, there's that completes you. We don't even have for a romantic.
A relationship similarly to a friendship.
Yeah, it's interesting that we don't tend to have the same level of discernment, or even sometimes the same standards that we would have for a friendship, we don't even have for our romantic relationships. I think there's so much more going on. We're not just attached to the person, which could be a really healthy thing. It's healthy to be able to depend on people and know that when things are going awry in life that you've got someone you can lean on. I mean, that's a part of healthy relating. It's just when your relationship is something that completes you, that you are then left, or perceptually left, incomplete if it ends. You add to that we are also very attached to relational outcomes. And I wouldn't say that's only because there's something nice about having stability and knowing what the future might be. There's that sort of quells our anxieties, and we can maybe predict that tomorrow morning will be a little more reliable or predictable, assuming our relationship will still be there. It's destabilizing, and that's why when people fight, one of the worst things you can do is put the relationship on the line. Like, if this doesn't happen, I'm leaving. If, or I'm going right now, or this is over. If that's a tactic that we use relationally, there's no psychological safety. And when I say attached to outcomes, we'll think about what we normally perceive about people who break up. And I met this woman the other day who, immediately in the beginning of our conversation, she had no idea what I did for work, so it wasn't anything to do with that. She said, "Oh, I'm getting divorced." And I was like, "Oh, wow." And she said, "I know, like, what a failure." And I was like, "Oh, no, what a liberation." That statement right there just speaks to how we tend to perceive relationships. It's that if they end, we're a failure. And if we get divorced, we're seen, and you see this with relational hierarchy. We have a hierarchy to relational status. And what I mean by that is we say, if someone's married, they're doing better than someone who's engaged, and someone who's engaged, better than doing someone who's dating, and someone who's dating is better than someone who's single, and then someone who's divorced is sort of seen as often below that, as if there's something wrong with them because they have this evidence that a relationship didn't last. And you can see the opposite of that hierarchy by the questions we ask when someone is dating. When are you getting engaged? When are you getting married? When are you having a kid? When are you having a second? Right? And so that alone, this idea when someone says, "Why are you single?" as if you're suffering from some sort of ailment, that it can't be by choice, all of that produces this expectation, or where our self-worth or our social status is connected to our relational status. And that, I would say, is actually the greatest momentum that creates so much pain with relational endings, because it's not just that my relationship ended, which can actually be an incredibly healthy thing. It's actually what it means about me. And not truthfully means about me, but what I've been taught it means about me. And, if you look historically, women were sort of made more in charge, or more of the responsibility on the relationship lasting was sort of centered around more, and that's why women tend to have a better relational barometer. Is it healthy, is it not? They tend to be more sensitive to relational health, and their standard for relational health tends to be a little higher. They tend to initiate divorce more than men. All that to say, like, if you look evolutionarily, Harriet Lerner talks about this. She's a psychologist. She talks about how, why is it that women want to learn about relationships more than men? And I think if you look at anyone's social media statistics, you'll see that that's inevitably true. And she says it's because every subordinate group needs to learn the needs and nuances of the dominant group to survive. So from a survival-based perspective, women needed to learn how to navigate emotion, especially unstable emotion, because the cost literally could be death. And so there's an immense amount of desire to learn how to dance with emotion, how to understand it. And you think this might just be a bias, so I recognize that. They tend to be more communal too, like more communal focused. And again, whenever I say men tend to be this or women tend to be that, there's always so much in between too. So if someone's like, that's not me, it's not you, and that's totally cool.
We're generalizing. So,
Right.
are you saying that maybe some of the weight of the attachment in a relationship versus friendship comes from outside perception?
Yeah.
Or are you saying perception of self?
Both. How outside perception influences perception of self, and the idea that outside perception should influence perception of self, which is really evolutionarily, it's Gabor Mate talks about how we have two needs: the need to belong and the need to self-express, and when self-expression threatens belonging, belonging usually wins. And that's inevitably like, I want to hold the same values, the same perceptions, the same beliefs as the community that I'm in, the church I'm in, and obviously those are all often synonymous. So if I don't hold them, then I might be seen as an other in the group, and I might lose group membership. Think about divorces. I mean, often religions will actually exile a person from their religion because they've been divorced. And if not literal exile, it will be communal exile. It'll be everyone will talk about them. And so all these things shape when we're attached to a relationship, which, you think about romantic relationships are obviously different than friendships in that we're potentially creating a family with them, we're potentially sharing a life with them. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of shared time, that's a lot of shared meals, that's a lot of shared moments. And that, puts a lot more weight, or we might be more attached because it is more destabilizing to know your partner and your relationship might end. And I think part of the biological process of processing heartbreak is the recognition that a story we thought was going to happen is no longer happening. And when they look at the research at people's brains, they light up in the same place when they think about their ex as a cocaine addict. So,
right.
We kind of become addicted to them. And so part of the physiological process of losing a romantic partner is the story, the possibility. We don't realize that although the story in how we envisioned it is changing and the person we're with is maybe not that person anymore, we can still create that life, and we think it's the death of the whole future rather than just how it looks. And part of the attachment to how it needs to look is what makes us hold on and stay static in relationship. And one of the things I've argued for a long time is because we're so afraid of relationships ending, we actually oscillate and participate in the relationship in a way that reduces the amount of friction in the relationship, because we're afraid this conversation might end the relationship, not seeing that that's the same conversation that also would deepen it. Mm-hmm. Or invite it to deepen.
The idea that all relationships...
That first time you take a step back.
I made that.
With your very own online store.
I sold that.
And you can manage it all in one.
All are selfish in nature and self-serving.
True, because you think we're always getting something from it. And
even the self-abandonment is selfish because you just want to be with them. So it's really self-serving. It's not... You know what I mean? Like everything is to serve the self and what you think will make you happier or feel better.
And that's why survival-based behaviors or mechanisms that we learn from childhood to self-abandon, to people please, to even overtly individuate and become an island that never gets connection, they're all ways to protect us from being mm-hmm. hurt and also to ensure connection. Most of us, till we do, most of us don't know how do I hold on to a self and be in relationship to another person. We often either put at cost our relationship to ourselves for the connection to other, or the connection to other at the cost to self. So it's either one or the other. We don't we don't know how to do both. How do I hold on to me and be in love with you and allow you and me too? That's hard.
I would imagine those are secure attachment is those rare unicorns that can find the balance, and there's the
whoever those people are.
I don't know them. I've never met one. I'm sure I have, but the anxious attachment, which would be abandoning yourself for the other person for the connection, and then the avoidant would be. Are those the sort of categories that you're applying when you say that? The avoidant would abandon the relationship itself.
Yeah, exactly. Are your listeners familiar with attachment theory?
Yeah. Somewhat. I'm sure we get some new people here and there, but I've definitely broached it many times with different people. But if you want to give a quick overview, I think that's always great.
Yeah, essentially what you're saying, secure attachment is the sort of defining characteristic is my partner's needs or the other person's needs matter as much as my own. And so not more than my own, which would be more anxious attachment, not less than my own, which would be more avoidant. And the beautiful thing is, no matter what we might think our attachment style is, it can change. So when someone learns it, they often say, I'm anxiously attached. No, you're just prone to anxious attachment. But if you say I am, then you're going to stay in it, right? You can't identify with the thing. So all of us can learn secure attachment. It's based on research by Jonathan Bowlby originally, and they had a mom with a baby, and the mom would leave the room and come back, and then they'd observe how did baby interact with mom. When the mom came back and the baby was like anxious, attaches to mom, it's like, when you leave, I'm not sure you're coming back, is essentially the behavior. So as soon as mom comes back in the room, they don't leave mom's side. So there's not really a trust there. The second one, mom leaves, mom comes back, baby's like, hey, what's up, reconnects with mom, goes back to playing. That's more secure. And the last one, more avoidant, mom leaves, mom comes back, baby's like, didn't even really know you were gone, not a big deal. Acts as if it's not affecting them, but internally, physiologically, they're doing the same thing as an anxious child. So you can think about it like anxious people get triggered by space in a relationship.
Yeah.
Avoidant people get triggered by a lack of space. So both are experiencing insecure attachment. They're just protecting themselves from hurt in opposite ways.
Exactly.
Right. So you're right. The avoidant will distance from the relationship to protect self. So the cost is the relationship, not the self, as opposed to an anxious person is like becomes a doormat. Which
kind of points in the direction of like child work, inner child work. I think there's a lot of people that don't do any of this, but is it essential if you are growing in a relationship to do inner child work, to understand your patterns, to understand your attachment style and all that stuff? Because it just seems like when you know, it's really part of your life. And I can remember old times in my life where I had no idea what any of this was, and I just sort of took everything personally, and it was everybody else's fault. But it's not a lot of joy either. So.
Oh man, that was so me too. Like when I think about being in high school or university, how I was normally more of anxious, secure, and then I got really hurt and betrayed, and then I became very avoidant. And that's why it's so easy to oscillate between the two, anxious and avoidant, because you don't have to learn security, right? They're both insecure attachment styles, so you don't have to become secure. And that was when I was 19, so my style dramatically changed at 19. And that was because after experiencing betrayal, I made it mean that when I love people, they betray me. And, here I am, not making out on dance floors while my buddies some of them are doing that and talking about it. And I'm like, no one's in a locker room being like, man, monogamy is the best. Like my partner and I, we had a deeper conversation and we found another level of intimacy. That's not often the conversation that's going on in a locker room.
Really married for many more decades after that.
Right, and relational awareness only can't, I originally used to actually be in sales, but also teach sales techniques and all that kind of stuff. And, when I went through a breakup, I thought to myself, why am I so good at talking about all these things, but not my feelings? Like, that's not a skill set issue. There's something else going on here. And so that was the beginning of my journey of wanting to understand romantic relationships, which inevitably, if you begin to understand romantic relationships, every relationship will improve, because it's just a magnifying glass of the things you don't do well. And I believe, there might be people who don't believe what we believe, because I totally agree with you. I think people can create really fulfilling relationships without any awareness of why they do what they do. They just happen to be modeled really healthy relational dynamics. That doesn't tend to be the norm, and I would even say what we're modeled by Disney or romantic comedies or romantic movies, it tends to be codependency, tends to be like self-abandonment, like the woman's laying on the tracks or up in the tower waiting to be saved. So one is needing to be saved and the other one always needs to be a knight. There's just so much of that bullshit that goes on in the unconscious, and even our roles that we took on in our families as kids, we often try to take on in a romantic relationship. So, I think both people to have deeply fulfilling relationships need to have awareness of what their limitations are and where their skill sets aren't. Because we don't learn this shit in school. Like,
No.
you did, like I started a podcast about it too, and I started writing about it because I was like, I gotta learn this stuff. Like, this is more important than whether I have a sales award. I'd rather have a stable romantic relationship. The interesting thing is you'll likely get the sales award.
Totally.
That's the irony.
It starts at home, and there's so much happiness driven from like your emotional position of where you're at. I think the real question with that is how, right? I think even if someone says, oh yeah, I want to learn about myself, or I want to do a good job, or I want to know, how? I've been even doing this longer than I have for sure, but even just my experience, you have to really be driven to excavate. You have to be driven to dig into your psyche and your patterns and analyze your family, which I'm sure has been hurtful at times,
Totally.
I know I've hurt my family in the process, my parents especially, and and I always have love and reverence for them, but your patterns come from them. So what does someone do if they are hearing it and they feel like, oh, I have these, I'm not in a relationship, or I'm not happy, and what does someone do to become aware? Awareness is hard.
Right. I think that ability to have awareness of your awareness, right? To be aware of your patterns, to be willing to ask questions. I think the birth of awareness is asking the question or the feeling. I think there's more to this. I feel like I'm tired of this pattern. I'm tired of this feeling. It usually, that's kind of a crazy thing about being human. Maybe it's true about being a dog too. I don't know. But what's crazy about being human is we tend to wait till we have to change, or we're in some space where it hurts so much that we have to listen or do research. And I think you're dead on. You start to learn about your family, and then all of a sudden, like, my childhood was effed, or like this was that, and you might have anger towards your parents. And I think one thing that allows us in the exploration and the excavation of these things is to see our parents as the children of parents, because then we start to see that, they were handed down the same thing. And, where do you begin? For me, it's always been following the breadcrumbs. I feel like when you ask the question, much like that saying is, when the student's ready, the teacher arrives. And I think that's true. I have had so many incredible teachers that have no idea they were my teachers. A lot of them just from reading their books or consuming their information, where I got to learn about something I was curious about. And that's your podcast is an incredible example of that. And there's so many resources available to us. It might be someone today gets this inkling of, oh, inner child, what the hell is an inner child, and then they could literally just Google that and find out what that means. I think that's a beautiful thing about where we're at today.
I think you're right. I think if you're here and listening, then this is probably a step you're taking to understand, and it's feeding that curiosity. Okay, I want to talk about masculine, feminine. I want to talk about roles. I'm just going to use myself because that's all I have. I question all the time, like, what is a man and a woman? Like, what is a masculine and feminine relationship? I'm just using man and a woman because that's my situation and that's your situation in this conversation. But, there's definitely usually a masculine and feminine role. And so for just ease sake of this conversation, a man and a woman. So what is that? I'm babbling because I'm so confused about it, but like, I'm a woman, but I know I'm more masculine. And I don't even know if that's something guys like,
Yeah.
Like, I get so confused. Like, what am I supposed to, I'm supposed to put ruffles on? I'm supposed to, like, be quiet? I don't know. Like, so anyway, I just really ponder this sort of dynamic a lot. And now a lot of my life has been cultivated to be stronger, tougher, more masculine because of the world I lived in. Also the house that I grew up in, father, my dad, like the dynamics, but it's also a lot of it's just me. Like, I'm just innately sort of like a strong, sort of direct person. So I'm curious, we can use me as an example, but we can sort of go into just all dynamics and is it possible to, is it easy? Should it be easy to find someone in my position?
Well, first off, I'd say the origin story of you is shattering a lot of those paradigms. Like you had to question what it meant and what it meant about your future in order to even, like you had to shatter those things to succeed in the way you did. So, I mean, kudos to you for that, because that means the melting away of identity had to occur anyways. And even what was possible for you had to be completely eradicated, because I'm sure people said that was never possible for you. And I think that's what's fascinating about generally our own limitations are actually other people's limitations. They're other people's fears. Even the boxes that we believe we have to fit in relationally. You think of so many, I mean, obviously gender is a big conversation currently about what is that and how do we explore that. But I think when we even think about it in the context of what are our roles in relationship, there's, when David Data does a lot of the work in masculine and feminine, John Wineland does too. And this idea that in every relationship there is a balance, there's masculine and feminine, and it finds balance in itself. And so where you would say you identify more as the characteristics of the masculine, direct, competitive, all those things, I would say that relationally I probably expressed more feminine. I was competitive and played sports, but when it came to relationships, I definitely was overtly more sensitive, more the feeler, more the conversation. I was the one who wanted to talk, which kind of went against all the norms we're taught. And so there was an element where I had to learn to desensitize myself. But what I found in relationship is I often dated, I would say exclusively I dated women who were competitive athletes and more in their masculine. And I mean, what I loved about that is they were always direct and great, very, had a high level of self-confidence. Maybe due to sports, maybe due to whatever. Yeah. But I found that what would happen, and if I think about the shaping of, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and a lot of the conversation about men, which still exists today, obviously, is that men are bad, masculine's bad, it's race, or it's abusive, it's all these different things. And so I associated boundaries with actually being controlling. And so I think a lot of my desires was to be a nice guy, like to be different than the men that women are being taught about. My mom's a feminist, and so, there was very much like probably a desire to appease mom. In the work from Robert Glover, who he wrote a book called No More Mr. Nice Guy, he talks about how, men in their early childhood, almost every authority figure, like their teachers, etc., are all women. So they spend so much of their youth trying to please women. And I thought it was just very interesting, right? And he talks about how, so much of, like, if we don't stand up to a woman, she won't believe we'll stand up for her. And I thought that's interesting because I would say, and the reason I say all this, is that if my boundary was tested, I often wouldn't stand in the integrity of myself. For connection, I would people please. I would doormat myself in order to maintain connection. But I would say is that none of my partners could really trust me because below my inability to stand for whatever my integrity was, if I wasn't going to do that, then how could they trust what I said if I said yes too much, right? Like you were saying earlier that this mechanism of people-pleasing that offers a benefit, right? I get to maintain the connection, but it's at the cost of my actual self-expression. So all that to say, a long way around the barn to get back to the conversation about masculine and feminine, I think part of the challenge that men have who are more feminine, who might express or identify as more of a nice guy, which is often unintegrated because it's kindness in order to get something. And that could be true of what we might say is the unhealthy expression of feminine. And then, and there's more conversation to that. And the unhealthy expression of masculine might be the manipulation or directness or using aggression and authority. When a man is more in that sensitized state and a woman is more in the directive state, and that could be a healthy, high achiever, all that kind of stuff. If the man doesn't know how to stand in his own truth too, and if he does derive his power from status, from earning, from control, from whatever the role he was taught, he will have no idea how to be in relationship with a powerful woman, because there will be this misconception that he has to trade something, including his masculinity, to be in a relationship with her. That both can't be met and facilitated, that are actually deepened through that experience. I hope that makes sense. Not talk through all those things in one moment.
I've had guys tell me, they're like, you're just so masculine, you're more masculine than me. What is that? Like, what are they saying?
Commercials are meant to be 30 seconds, but this one is only 15. Because these fries cook in half the time. McCain Quick Cook Fries. They cook in half the time.
You're a wearable health and fitness coach, now track stress. If you don't already know, Whoop is a wearable device that monitors recovery, sleep, training.
I think when, one, they don't know how to hold that energy because maybe they don't know how to express it themselves, like they're not even sure what's in that. They might be even afraid of that part of themselves. That they don't know how to be in relationship with a powerful woman and be powerful. Like they think there's a trade. And also that there's an association of femininity with certain things, you know, that it has to be softness and what you said, ruffles, you know, it has to be these things, as if it can't be expressed differently. I think that's probably a passive way of saying I'm not sure how to be around that energy.
Sure.
And,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, when overt individuation, because like a lot of what happened, let's say we're looking at the messaging from the first waves of feminism, and a lot of men receive the message, right? Like, don't be controlling, don't be these things. Those are all good things when we're correcting for behaviors. And a lot of women learned, for obvious reasons, don't depend on a man, don't need a man, take care of yourself. And those are all important messages too. And a lot of men saw their mothers get financially abused, get left desolated in divorce. And so they again are overtly feminizing themselves in that, in response to that. They want to protect, they want to do all good. Those are all good things. But when a child is left to interpret this information without an adult explaining it, saying, yeah, it is important that you are able to take care of yourself. It's important that you're able to take care of your own needs, but not so that you can't be in a relationship with anyone else. Like what ends up happening when it's not explained is a woman and a man, but in this conversation, a woman can learn to never need anybody. And so that's why overt expression of the masculine can be this overt expression of individuation, where there is not actually a surrendering or an opening, if we're using the masculine and feminine language, to actually receive a man or receive another person. And so it's actually sometimes guardedness masquerading as masculinity, if that makes sense. So it's protective, right? It's guarded, it's protective, and it's a wall, and it's got a fortress around it. And
you're describing what I've talked about for myself.
Well, that's why sometimes what a man doesn't know how to use, or another person just doesn't know how to use language for, is you're in your masculine, and what they really might be feeling is, I don't feel like you're open. I don't feel like there's reception to love.
Are there specific roles like that, two people coming together? I mean, especially if we're looking at masculine and feminine, are there, you know, I've listened to lots of videos and like, God, you know, man's looking for somewhere to like, you know, not be bothered. It should be easy. It should, like, there's like videos like that. And then, you know, I don't really look at the women's side because I'm a woman. So, you know, I feel like I'm just thinking about it from my perspective, but a woman generally is looking to feel safe, she's looking to feel appreciated, she's looking to feel valued, irreplaceable, special. So are there, what are some, like a few on each side for needs that each have?
I'd say at a baseline, all relationships, and this is what attachment does. Attachment is a radar, and it's constantly going in all our relationships to say, am I safe? Am I safe to be me? And I'd say at the baseline of all relationships, romantic too, regardless of your gender, is, am I psychologically safe? Am I safe to express and be myself? Now, most of us have messaging from our childhood that says that's not true, so we might project that in our relationships. there might be safety present. We might not be attracted to safety because all our nervous system knows is chaos. So is there certain things that a man needs versus, well, I think there's so much complexity to it because like I think of how many men I know and they all have a man needs versus, well, I think there's so much complexity to it because like I think of how many men I know and they all have different types of like maybe specific needs that they have. So the first I'd say is psychological safety everyone needs. Second one is I think that men as a collective, like one of the things that I would say we generally are challenged with that I think most people would agree with and most women would agree with is we're pretty challenged with conversation. We're challenged with emotional conversation. And if you think about it, since our birth, we've been socialized to not have emotional conversation and to also not be attuned to our emotions. And so we might have a couple acceptable emotions like aggression, especially in sports, and maybe moderate exciting. Yeah. But we're not, and sexual excitement, but we're not allowed generally to have grief, and we're not allowed to have sadness. And any of those things tend to be in conflict with masculinity and to equate to weakness. So I think we probably, although we might not know we need it, and who am I to say? I speak for all men, I don't. But I do think that we need some patience as we desire to learn emotional language and to learn how to communicate. Whatever age a man is that many years less that he's been exposed to the possibility of emotional. So it's like a totally new language. I remember when I was first trying to have conversations, I was good at sales, but as soon as it came to a conversation with my partner, it was like I couldn't find words and I would get so flooded. And I didn't know how to put words to feelings. And that's an art. And I think no matter a person's gender, they can relate to that probably. And for women, I mean, I believe that they want a man who is deeply rooted in his integrity, that they can trust his work, and that they will at least be validated in being heard. You know, I think one of the misconceptions we have relationally is that we have to agree with each other, and that is some sort of sign of relational success. But I actually think it's more, can two truths exist? Because you and I can experience one situation very differently, and that is probably because it's encoded in our programming, our childhoods, our experiences in life, and both of them are true. And the job of a relationship is to actually unify those things, to allow understanding for both. And you know, what is seemingly beyond two opposing views is usually a deeper truth, and it's usually wiser than the first two to begin with.
Elementor presents The Web Creator. Meet Nina, a pixel-perfect web design master. Her weapon of choice, Elementor, the world's leading WordPress website builder. This smooth drag-and-drop visual editor makes her job so fluid, intuitive, effortless, straightforward.
Very man.
Okay, I'm gone. And how about this guy, Jimmy, a web developer with one weird-looking sidekick and some mad skills. He can customize just about everything he wants to make his vision come to life. This dude's on fire. Oh, wait a minute. And these two do-it-all web marketing control freaks, they needed an independent all-in-one platform because they don't take orders from nobody. Oh, except from their boss. They definitely take orders from their boss. Make it rain!
I'm thinking about a Ram Dass quote. I'm pretty sure it's Ram Dass. Something along the lines of like, the best thing that I can do for you is to work on myself, and the best thing you can do for me is to work on yourself. Something to that effect.
I love Ram Dass.
Yeah, I know, so good. We're all just walking each other home.
So good. It's so good.
It's so true. So this is kind of a simple, broad question, but I think a lot about the nature of reality and the purpose of everything, and energy and frequency and what's all happening. And I wonder what the point of relationships are.
Well, I think that Ram Dass quote is so apropos that we're all just walking each other home. You know, I personally believe that the purpose of relationship is, you know, I think love just might matter enough to us that we're willing to look at our stuff. There's not a lot of other things that matter to us enough. And if you look at the deepest core human motivations is connection and love. And I believe that it is the purpose and the evolutionary purpose, and I mean maybe from both a consciousness perspective and a personal perspective, is that relationships, they are a mirror to the things that we're not good at. They show us where we're not free. They show us where we wear masks. They show us our potential. Like, you think about everything that triggers you is really an invitation to learn mastery in the thing you're triggered about, because the trigger itself is this hypersensitivity to likely a previous wounding that just hasn't been processed.
Exactly.
Right, so like when the trigger comes forth, we vehemently protect against experiencing what we're afraid is going to occur. And that's brilliant intelligence, but what lives in the actual trigger is the information of what skill would I need to learn to at least mitigate the possibility of this happening again. And I think really when we can learn how to manage conflict successfully, when we can see that it deepens intimacy of self and other, that we actually can see that conflict serves us. You know, it shows me, like, why can we not navigate a conversation and actually end up more in love?
This is like Cantonese for most, I'm sure, right? Like, I mean, think about
it. Would be for younger me.
Yeah, younger me, and that's why I'm saying, like, to think that the conflict is the gold, and the triggering is the gold, and is where you can mine, to use gold, yourself and figure things out and expose those shadows and expose those patterns that aren't serving you, and in areas where you're not free. This is like a foreign concept.
It totally is, you know, especially except for the people who speak Cantonese. Then it's a natural, you know, concept. And in that there are people that navigate this language, and I think it's a massive revolution of relationship, you know, ultimately. Like, you look at what we tend to have inherited relationally is codependency. And, you know, like, if you look up your family, wait, you're at home. If you look up your family,
I am home. That is me.
Same. And you know, if you look up your family tree, and really where we learn about relationships is from our families and our societies and our cultures and our movies. If you never learn how to have conflict and turn it into deeper intimacy, how the hell would you know how? The skill set is not shared, but it can be learned. And Eric Fromm, who wrote the book The Art of Loving, he has a great quote in it where he says that there's nothing that we fail at more than love, yet don't take the time to learn. And there's sort of this arrogance, I think, to being human till it's gone, that we actually just think we should just be good at relationships. Like, we have this narrative that you get married by a certain age, and you're just supposed to make it last forever. Like,
yeah.
And you know,
we
people
didn't
say,
get a lesson on it.
I got 0 lessons on it, and I went to Catholic school, so I actually started with negative lessons, you know? And I was taught that there was a giant white guy in the cloud with a beard that would decide if I was a good guy or a bad guy. Like, it's so stupid, and you don't get to find out till you get to the gates. Like, how dumb is that? You know, and so you see, like, how much, so much of you, even of our perception of self is externalized, that God is outside of you. But anyone who's experienced love, and I forget who, I think it's Alan Watts who says, ask anyone who doesn't believe in God, ask them that when they're having an orgasm. And, you know, I think there is a willingness when we've experienced enough friction relationally to explore the friction. And when we stop running from our challenges relationally, and actually realize that you don't have to run towards them, because that's definitely going to be awkward, especially after you've been running from them. But when you start to actually just slow down and turn around and turn towards them and realize, you know, that that's where the gold is, as you said. I mean, I think the challenge culturally is that we are taught to avoid conflict. We are taught to vehemently disagree and just name call the other side. We're not taught the skills to build bridges. We're not taught the skills to deepen relationship. We're taught that if someone has an opposing view or an opposing way of being, that they're just wrong. And like, this has perpetuated our culture, and this has perpetuated our relationships. And, you know, I think we're definitely seeing that, especially now, relationally. Mm-hmm. And, you know, really, I think the future for relationship, but also culturally, is we all have to become bridge builders. Yeah. We all have to become the people who say, hey, actually, there's another way. And the other way is about, because if you return to developing a more sacred relationship with yourself, which is inevitably what's going to happen, It's Richard Rohr who says that the journey to finding the true self is the same as the journey to finding God. And I love that, because if you go to find God, you find self. If you go to find self, you find God. And, kind of speaking to what I said earlier, the idea that there's a differentiation between those things is, I think, what is weaponized against us sometimes, but that's a whole other conversation. But in this return of your relationship to treating yourself as sacred is then inevitably that you will accept nothing less than sacred, and also what you'll share with your partner is sacred, and then the reverence that you'll have to your partnership will be so different. But inevitably, if you do that, you will return to a sacred relationship to the earth and to everything.
A mirror both ways.
Right. It's
the mirror to seeing how you need to change is what you then project,
And the solution, speaking to the things that we are taught to avoid. I mean, we're taught that sadness or grief or anger, that there's something wrong with us if we have those emotions, as opposed to, well, what happens instead of looking at it, is there something wrong with you? And you said, what's right with me that I feel this way?
Yeah.
How can I be informed by that? What's it asking me to change? I think that is also this idea that there's nothing to be found in the darkness, or there's something wrong with the darkness. I mean, I've been through a breakup that brought me to my knees, and I navigated that breakup sober, the first time I ever navigated a breakup sober, and I felt things that I had never allowed myself to feel, but
so heavy.
The richest transformations for me have always occurred in those sort of like roots to the ground, demand to be felt spaces.
Burn it to the ground.
Right, no other choice.
It has
alchemy.
Just alchemy, right? It's becomes.
Ramadan looks different around.
Come on, love. Can you hear me?
In your home, it could look like
One second.
In a home like that, it could look like hardship. In the rest of you, in the mountains of Kashmir, it could look like not enough food for the food.
Oh my lord, this guy's so lucky.
Oh wait, are you?
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is open your pockets and when you feel your sleeve and make sure that the love you give is less than next.
To what?
Ashes that fertilize the soil for something else.
You can start. You don't have to wait.
It was fun.
It's okay.
No, because this thing put me in and I'm like, wait, I thought you was in that mess. That's why I was confused.
I mean, if you hit ready and send you in is to expectate. But yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was confused because it put the thing in. I love the kids like that.
Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of quests today, so they came out with this gun that's it's a lock-on pistol, so you aim, and as you aim on people, it'll do it'll add little things on. You'll see it once you use it, but it's like an auto aim. Yeah, it's on there. It shows on the news. It's once it's locked on, the bullets hit unless they build something in front or you hit a wall. But yeah, it's auto aim. It's cool. You can also just shoot regularly too, so it's pretty useful. Hmm?
No, I'm like, why does that look different? So that's new because that wasn't there.
Oh, this is the thing of the one time I mentioned, like the water guard.
Hmm?
Those are the things I mentioned one time. They're like part of the story of the water guard. I hope they
What the
introduce.
fuck? Okay.
There's a wind thing there. I hope they put like underwater swimming next season. That'd be cool, especially for summer. To do water summer stuff. That's gonna be exciting whenever they do.
Visit monoliths. Okay, I'm at the monolith. Isn't this the
I should have given you one. I should have already given you one. There's 3 of them.
Probably the system acting up.
Hmm?
It's probably the system acting up.
No, but I should have marked one. Check on the thing. Did it mark one? Try to walk away and come back. And then we can go to the next ones anyway and try to mark them. That might be too close.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay.
Oh, still.
It depends because that's probably because of how they have the setup, the quest setup. It happened to us before on other stuff, but it's like when you're in the sky, it doesn't mark your position until you land, and then it marks your position. Depending on how they have the questing, because they should have marked, but I don't know.
Yeah, that was silly.
That's just bullshit. They should have definitely just not be that complicated. Lagging.
Footsteps.
I'm stuck. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Got to be fucking kidding me.
Oh, you still have to do that one, right?
Fuck, bro. Like, I hit him with one.
That's a label. This pistol, Rosa. This pistol.
Oh, so something.
There's a quest for it too. You have to hit 200 damage. So when you aim it, it'll start locking on the people that once there's a circle on the thing, you'll see it. And Once you're aiming, people are gonna get locked on, and you can just shoot normal. But it's every shot you gotta press. No como la otra que you just hold it. Like this one. Unlike that one, I guess I should say.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and that circle you see, it's where there's like 4 L's, technically, like they're like square brackets, or the corners of a square, and they light up when you're blocking on people, like purplish. There's someone here. Come see, so you can hit him with the pistol and then see if you can do the challenge. It's over here. He's running away.
It's just charging? Or what is it doing?
Where are you, yo? You coming?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay.
Really confused.
Just aim at him and it'll. Oh, is he down? Watch out. Okay. Here. Here.
Fuck, I'm stuck in this
Come
thing.
back here. It's okay. Come back here. Shoot the things here next to this wall. Looking looking straight. That works. Tira la otra, tira la otra.
He's dead.
Yeah, you don't have enough health. Try and hit him with them. Can you shoot him with them? There's somebody behind you too. Hold on. Someone up here. This guy. Hit him. Try to hit him with the rocket now. Try to hit him with the rocket right now. And then...
I'm trying.
Tírala al piso. Al
He
piso,
said
al piso.
them on the floor, yeah.
Never mind. Try and shoot at... Don't try to shoot at them. Try to shoot at the area near them.
The floor, yeah.
Because you just have to hit the explosion to get them. Next time we do one on the ground, we'll try to see if we have more time for them. And then we're sliding too, which doesn't help at all.
I'm not doing deep.
There's cord right there if you... I'm checking over here.
Oh, shield back where we were at. There's the shield back. Where's my shotgun, bro?
Sorry.
What was that thing?
Hmm?
Here.
Okay.
Jump out. It's gonna jump out. Oh yeah, there it is. Are there, is it only blue the pistol, or is there?
I think it might be only blue. Did you get the whole 200, or you still have to get more?
Where's that one under? Oh, yeah, I got that one. Damage opponents with a lock-on pistol.
Awesome. Just gotta get that spear one. You still got spears left?
Yeah, still got my battery.
Go what?
No, I marked the map.
Oh.
Yeah, I still have to.
Oh, what? This guy right here.
Coming. Not Indiana, bro. Like.
No, we'll have to do it. We'll have to do it when they're down. There's one over here. Oh, no, no.
Nah, I don't have any more speed.
What in the
There's two of
world?
them.
Get out of here. How much life,
I
bro?
lost me crown. At first I thought it was you. Oh, on with the thing.
That was surprising.
Yeah. with dimensions.
Hmm?
I have a 50 bucks. I don't know when I got it. But oh, there's one here. I didn't have to put something across the way. Ring different gongs.
Oh, those are like the ring, those circle things that are in like the sword places. Yeah, there's people in there, so watch out. Yeah. In that house or around there.
Oh, I got shot. Oh, dude, it was jump, bro. Yeah, inside.
They're down here, but there's another.
Oh, there's the window.
He made that. People are wild, bro.
He made his own window to his death.
Yeah, y'all was happy though. Oh gosh. And build techniques, man.
Oh, you still need a little bit of life. Where was that gone? And there was two of them. Did the other one just run?
It's around where the mark is.
Oh, here it is.
You have to hit it. Some of them you have to get them at like a specific angle, like on the side. Hold on, Buckingham. You have to hit it like it's weird, yeah. But hit the metal plate. Try to agachate. Hold on, let's see if we open it this way. Don't break it, don't break it. Let's break this thing. From this side, try to hit it from this side. Yeah. Yeah, I should have got it, right?
Three different ones, yeah.
See. Spurs.
I need to put some dirt bikes back in.
They are, it's just they're rare now. Like far out in, like in the mountains. This one's cool with the boost on this thing, but it gets crazy.
Oh no. Almost exploded us. Almost got out gas.
That's the other thing about a boost.
Wow.
Need to be e-bikes.
That's why I like the other ones, because it was like I never ran out.
I saw shots behind us, but no one's shooting at you. I saw like the little sound thing. Really, I wish I put this in creative, but I like do this for a while. I need to put the glove in my mouth.
I thought you had it in there.
No, I had it in the other map. I put the things to unlimited too, the cars and the planes también, so now they don't run out of gas either. And you don't run out of energy to run. I gotta see what else, but it's better that way. It's not to like, cause it like what you were talking to makes sense. Like it's just counter, and like you go back, pick up materials to go back and do what you were doing. Yeah, it's kind of like a waste.
Enter vehicle within 30 seconds from landing.
Oh, yep.
Sports trick on a bike. Enter vehicle. Okay. Travel distance
Behind.
in a vehicle.
Yep. Okay.
You freaking kidding me?
I don't know if he doesn't have friends. Oh, right here. Throw it on the ground. No, 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 not that far.
Oh, you moved.
Throw it right here. It's fine, it's fine. Throw it right here against this thing.
It's not doing
What?
it. Like,
What's the other one?
WTF. I'm out. So annoyed by this fear thing.
It's okay. Don't be annoyed. Just before you go next time, just breathe, right?
I
And
did. I
no,
aimed
hold
to the
on.
floor like you said.
The first one I saw on the ground, and then it was like too late for me to move. I don't know if one hit him though.
One hit him.
Okay.
The third or fourth one.
Oh gosh.
Let me travel. Must be done.
Oh yeah.
For this match. Oh, this person right here. Oh, come on. Oh, bro, you got out?
Yeah. There's somebody else though. Somebody else coming. Oh man, that's...
Oh, there's somebody behind me. Fuck. over here is a fish.
I'm probably gonna die. No! If I hit him, I would have killed him that first shot. I would have. Oh man, that was so close.
Yeah, with the shotgun.
Headshot if I had him, but 2. What happened? So yeah, there's that.
Oh, they made a guy one of that.
Hmm?
They have a guy one, a guy version of that chick.
Sad chick?
No, of hold on, I'll find her.
I just need Miles, man. That's the only one.
They have a guy version of this girl.
Where's my phone?
And
What
this
are
girl.
you, my friend? Charge this thing. Oh, yeah. The one they have on right now. Yeah, they have a guy version.
Hmm?
I think I don't know if they were both in the battle pass, but I don't know when they weren't. It was just the girl.
I don't remember the guy being in the battle pass, but I remember her.
No, it was just the girl, because yeah, I don't have the guy either. Pretty sure I don't have it.
The sacrifice that women make, especially in relationship to infants, is pretty.
I just marked randomly, I'm not sure if there's anything there.
There's just a little watchtower, it looks, and then a house before it. A little pond. Be cool if you could like jump in the river and like catch fish, like. Yeah. Can't wait to be older, man. See the world. Universe too. Patience with everything else. That shit takes a lot of energy. And we're lazy. I love that gun. It's so cool. Go out there up here, my bad. See. You don't have spears, do you, right?
Huh?
You don't have spears, right?
No. No spears.
I just can get that one done whenever and, you know, forget about it. Oh shit.
Who threw that?
Me. Might be lagging. I don't know, am I lagging? No, this frog is lagging. Sounds interesting. Thank you. Imagine what kind of fish would be inside this thing. They haven't put the shark in so long. It's sad.
I'm surprised they took it out.
I don't think I love the Colombo hasn't been back in like 2 years now, cuz.
Yeah, but the Colombo was like a...
No, that thing was amazing, bro. What? Huh? What'd you say?
It was like a stint. It made a show and then it never came back.
Oh, no, but
That's fine.
I mean, I can't wait till they release whatever the next mode is, because it's gonna probably have like a bunch of other creatures too, because that's where Fortnite is going. But yeah, they basically went extinct for a while.
The sharks are in like almost every map.
I think it's phenomenal though, like the animations, like when it gets mad. Yeah, it's so cool. I can't wait till they release it. Till we release it. For a while. Just gotta be polite and take focus. It takes a lot of human life to make those things come to life. Human sacrifice. You know, there was this, I saw this video, they were talking about, what is it?
Dirt bike.
Oh, dirt bike? Okay. This video is like, this is so silly, but it's like true. I never thought, I was like why does God need sacrifices, right? And it was like, when you would take sacrifices to the priest, it was so they would eat, so they wouldn't starve, because back then they didn't have food. Bro, it's so ridiculous. I was like, what? Huh? It's messed up, man.
You know I didn't pop them.
Okay?
Waiting for you, sir.
Okay.
No.
Say that again. Waiting for me for what?
For the slap juices.
Oh shit. My bad. There's some here. Slap juice.
Huh?
Yeah, slap juice back here. Irony.
What the fuck? That is
when you jump, press O. It'll give you more points. So like you can do it right now and jump and press O. It'll give you points. Just hold the jump. Hold the jump button. Hold it till it's full. Yeah. Press O. You might have gotten it already because mine me la dio de una vez.
No, I need a more. I'm at 80.
Okay, mine was glitch. That was interesting. We just like bounced from that fence.
That one, got it.
Boom, boom.
Still have to travel.
Oh, the miles. Mm-hmm.
There's no boost to this one, though.
No. You know, they give you something to take another thing away and another, you know. Just so that we learn to share. Well, you know, I was thinking the word teacher is really close to share. Teacher, to share, to share. That's where that kind of comes from. There's three llamas over there. We can keep going though if you want to get the thing.
Where are the llamas?
They're just chilling. Back where I marked. You see them on the rock just hanging out. You see them? There's one right there. Okay.
I was trying to stop.
Yeah, but that was really interesting. I never. What? Yeah, they're like on the rock.
Wow. It's a frenzy. You have to click on this.
Come back.
There's one down there.
I'm sorry for being so evil. Thank you for your sacrifice.
Oh no, she's gonna explode on me.
Wait, what? Still alive?
Yeah. She's gonna explode on me.
Where's the bike? You have to finish the thing.
I didn't grab one.
No, 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 no. Actually, I can do this. Whoa.
What is happening? Why did it slow?
We're lagging back because we just teleported back to here across the lake.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you
We're
hear me?
See, can you hear me?
Do you hear me?
Yes, do you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I hear you.
We're just having a lot of lag.
Because I was like, am I frozen? What just happened? Yeah, I hear you.
We're having a lot of lag because we like teleported back across the river. And then there was a delay and like when I said something, when you heard it, when you said something, when I heard it. They need to update the servers like for 3 years in advance or something because the shit's about to grow, man. You'll have more people starting to live at home and do stuff from home. More consoles and shit. You have spears?
Mind your business, bro.
Oh, you still have to do the thing though. And it's per in a match. You have to drive the distance in a match.
Yeah, I'm almost there. There we go. All set. You can get off. Where they at?
Back
I
where
think they're
we
shooting
were.
us from above, right?
Yeah. It's just funny when they knock you down from the thing. Ah man, this dude got good aim, bro. What?
Oh yeah, he's moving to me. Oh, tried to shoot him. Oh my god, these people behind me
I'm
trying to
stuck.
explode me.
Wow,
What
you're all the way
the
back
fuck is exploding?
I'm sorry.
Come on, bro.
Oh, where's the other guy? That's interesting.
I don't know, he ran.
That's weird.
I was trying to get it with the spear, but with this freaking lag.
Yeah, it would have been cool if you knocked him down, because then you would have time to do the second one. You almost did too, pero yeah.
Torturous.
Yeah. I say that many times over until they stop talking. Cladding, maybe. Same thing. Backwards. Not just because the word backwards is clad. It's being nonsensical. Cladding.
Yay. Face, you got me cold.
Maya ho, Maya here, Maya ha ha. Ooh.
You ate? Huh? You ate? Should have landed in my custody. There would have been a vehicle there.
Maybe this house. Or even this house too. I'll go to this one real quick and see. Yeah, there's a car here. And a truck. Car's more accessible. In a sense. Watch out.
Footsteps. Silly goose.
Silly goose.
See, like, even the hair to this girl moves in comparison to the girl you have on.
Oh, but this one is because of the back bling. The back bling, so the little orb I have, the blob that moves.
No, her hair doesn't move.
No, so you see the orb, the little like liquid that's moving on my back?
Yeah.
So because of that, they locked the hair and the hair doesn't move. If you take off the back bling, the hair moves. Because there's like, it has to do with computational stuff and there's like collision things that happen and other stuff. So, and that's just how they do. How they work around certain things until we have systems that are, until they can model like a strand of hair on every model. But the problem right now is making it efficient, where like you can run it and the system doesn't crash. To do that, that's the problem really. Like we have to wait for time and people to. That also has to do with like what I've been talking to you and Pablito. Is how do you make any of this stuff? Like that's gonna take us forever until we realize how does one hair strand of human hair is made like by us. Like how do I make my own hair? How do I grow my hands and all that stuff that I've been talking about? Same thing. It's a lot of information and we haven't thought about that individually. We're doing it collectively, so that's why we have video games and studying so many different things, because everything connects to everything. So like you have certain color hair because you live in places and you've assimilated certain things certain ways, and that's the way you've assimilated them. And then it goes to the point of like who you are, and that's like the video I sent you of the divinity of like I think I didn't do the definition exactly as he said. So I was telling Rodo, and it was more like, I think I did, but is your ability to transcend like human limitations. It's like what he said. So it's like you're able to be like, oh, it could work this way, or it could work that way. Like that's when you see both the good and the bad. It's not just I like this and I don't like that, so I'm not gonna explore what I don't like because I don't like it. If I don't like it, there's a reason why I don't like it, so I need to be like, well, what's that trying to tell me, you know? Like, most people don't like killing. There's some people that like to, but if you were and try to like cut a finger off of them, that would hurt pain and they would change their ideas very quick. And there was a quote that says, people say they don't want to live or something like that, but if you throw them in the ocean, you'll see them swim to not drown, right? Because you can say whatever you want, but it's your body talking to you about how we have saved all the information, we have processed. This guy up here, there's somebody else too here. Oh my lord. I'm down there. No, I had no HP. The other guy from up top left. And
I was trying to hit the guy you was fighting with the spears.
No, see, I saw. We'll get it eventually. I mean, as long as you have the skin, that's like the most important, because the XP doesn't matter. I mean, eventually. Oh, I'm saying doesn't matter in the terms of what I'm talking about, like time, because eventually all of that's gonna be different, and the only reason that you need XP is to get the full battle pass, you know, so that you get all the stuff, because I'm telling you, these things are gonna become expensive in the future. Like, when you can make your own skin, right? And then if you think about like future, let's say on your island, right? And you can make your own store in the island, and now people buy from your store in the island, right? So this is cool because it's already designed, and like it's just the way the world is gonna be, because it's awesome because of AI and people. Okay.
Sorry, no.
Well, yeah, dude, like it's gonna be like one skin, like it's gonna be way more expensive, and it's gonna be like more exclusive. Like it's gonna get to the point like only certain things are gonna be available to you. Like let's say you had to win a championship and it was only available this year. You know, how expensive your account is gonna be like in 20 years when like you can't get that skin, and that's like, no, dude, it's crazy. A lot of stuff right now is super expensive when it's stupid stuff. Like, no, this shit is gonna get insane, and it's not gonna be expensive. It's just gonna be a lot of numbers, because by then we're also gonna figure out like the money time thing, the problem that we all have individually, which I've been telling you all this stuff, because it's all linked to that income, outcome, and all that stuff. Um, time, it's close to that word too, income. Because that's why it also says that Jesus comes at the end of time, because this is why like I'm also telling you about your words, because every time you talk, you're storing time, you're rearranging the way that you are seeing time within yourself, because your words they're stored in your body and however you store them, all of them. And then there's all the words that we don't know how to speak yet, in terms of like we don't use our left hand to write, right? So there's a lot of sounds that we haven't integrated, because sounds affect the way that we move biologically. A lot of stuff, man, especially when time gets more integrated. Emit, backwards, time, emit. You wanna go Mega City? Oh no, that was for the car later, earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You already land on rails?
Huh?
You already land on rails? There was one to land on rails.
Which one's that one? Maybe it's one of those stages? Because I don't have that one yet.
You might have done it. I think it was the trials or the or the season. But it was an early one. You probably already did it.
Somebody outside.
Also suck butt.
Jesus, what the fuck is going on?
I'm bad.
No, it's because this thing's glitching, so I just saw something flying at me.
There's this guy back here. Is he that right? Oh yeah, I think so. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Yeah. Oh. Hmm? Oh, I see. There's two of them. Whoa, bro.
What? Dang, bro. Minding my business. Where the fuck was that guy?
Which guy?
That guy.
I don't know. It came out.
The one that's down with the bunny ears.
Oh, I took him down. He took most of my life.
Oh.
Craziness, man.
Where he come from? That was insane. Oh shit. I didn't ever hear the mark. I didn't hear the marker, so I didn't jump. That's what happened. Yeah. Which one was Brand's? People just got me killed. Shots. My shit's glitching bad though.
Whoa, and there's somebody over here too.
Hit one before.
No one's down. Try to shoot the thingies. Do you have them? I might be too far. Might be too far. No,
yeah,
no waste your time. That one's almost down.
He's down. Oh shit. I fell.
Ah.
You killed him?
No.
So what's with the grenade?
This one has 120. Oh, lucky child. I got one bullet left. No, he's covering you.
There's one in front of me.
70.
Somebody. Where is that him?
Okay. Oh, he's leaving. He doesn't. He has like 20 points, bro.
We gotta get higher ground.
There's people behind us though. Somebody in the air.
You see him? Okay.
Somebody's shooting. Be
Where?
careful. From up there too. They have a sniper
Got a
too.
sniper. Oh. Oh,
What?
Damn, how the fuck I get hit?
Some lucky shit, bro.
Like, how did you shoot through a wall, through a tree? Oh, man.
Wow.
Get up, you fuck! Oh, yeah!
Horrible timing.
Bro, it had like one left on my screen for me to come back.
Technically, when I did it, it was done, but obviously not. So, yeah.
Fine. Deal damage, melee. Reach.
Yeah, that one's fun.
5 flames remaining. Deal damage from above. I'm on stage 3 of that one. Headshots from 30 meters or more. Yeah, hi. I just laugh at some of these because I'm like, yeah, that's gonna take me forever. I aim at the feet. Except when throwing the spears. I aim at them.
Well, that one definitely is like annoying because of the thing when you jump. We just have to, like, I don't know, try it. Like, whenever you see like more than one, just shoot it like the other one. So you just practice and then keep the other one. That way you have like a little bit of practice when you go, yeah, you're already ready. Where you're gonna shoot it before you shoot it.
Someone flying directly on my head. And the all I got is a sniper.
Toma. And bullets. Oh God, no.
Shot.
Yeah. Be careful.
What?
Okay, nice. The other person. Be careful.
Yo, that's such a lucky shot. Bro, that was such a lucky sniper shot.
Oh, you killed him with that? Wow. That was nice.
Oh man, I didn't even realize what gun I had. I just like boom, boom.
That was awesome. Holy moly. Okay. Craziness. Wow.
Still need like 20 battle stars to get the last
I just need to get to 200. I think it's 200. Yeah.
Quest rewards. What are these quests? Oh, that's what. Oh, from the quest. Okay.
Need to update the XP system so my map gets XP.
Wow.
Sit there for hours just doing stuff sometimes. And sit there too. I gotta set up, like, I have it now, like all those bots and stuff, so you gotta defeat them to get to the middle boss, and when you defeat the middle boss, I have to set it up so that like it gives you like a break for like maybe 10 minutes, and then they start coming at you again or something. Like a zombie wave, kind of. Have to wait for now. I need to update the memory thing, man. There's like, I need to do a lot more stuff and like no memory there. I'm like, man, bro, like, how do people make all this crazy stuff with only 100,000 memory?
Where you at? I have to purple.
Those things right here. Or slap or slurp right here.
Ooh, good shot.
There's another.
This chest doesn't look open.
Again?
This chest isn't open. Look at this.
Right, for me, it's, oh, it is close. What the heck? That's first. There's some spears over there. Wonder when we'll put that challenge to rest.
One day.
There's some slurp over here. And I see thing too. What? What happens in this big growth? A lot of weird things happen. Look at that. That's a teleportation. Yeah, they're right here somewhere.
Yeah, they're above.
Above?
Mm-hmm.
He just went down. They're behind.
Okay.
No, it's spear.
Where'd it go? Oh my god, bro.
You gotta be joking. I'm so sorry. No. I said. Did it hit him?
Hit myself, but I don't even know if I even did it.
Dude,
I'm never gonna get this damn thing. I give up.
No. That was, dude, like, I screwed that up too bad. Do you still have any left?
Yeah, I still have two.
No,
Yeah,
you
I
don't.
still have two.
How could I? Why is this our luck, man? Because that would have been the second hit when I picked him up, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not good.
No, it's not. Because how does this happen? Why?
Shit,
Not how.
the storm was coming.
Yeah.
Oh, the chests are staying close even when you open them. Interesting.
Okay. It just keeps getting weirder.
Oh shit. It's
Never give up, my love. That's the whole thing about defining your words.
Eventually I'll get it.
No, it just comes to mind. Because the whole thing I'm talking about too is we have to become way stronger to live in this world, because shit's gonna get crazy in terms of like how do you tell what's real and who are you when the world is trying to tell you you're supposed to do all these things, and it's always gonna be like that. Because that's what we do to each other, so that we play this game, whatever this thing is. Let me see. No, I can't pick it up.
Okay.
I'm trying to switch something.
King's
How many spears you got left? 4 or 2?
2. Oh no. Thought I was gonna die for a second.
Okay.
Thought I was gonna die for a second.
Oh, well.
Do you want a purple one?
Huh?
I'll take the purple, you take the gold.
Purple what? Okay. Yeah. You gonna take it?
I have
You
a
gonna
purple.
oh.
I took the purple. I didn't know you had a purple.
Come on, baby Jesus. Let's get this spirit thing in the past.
Bro, why do you want to dance so bad? There's a chicken following you. Or so it seemed.
What is it?
No, it looked earlier. A second ago, it looked like the chicken was following you.
Sometimes they get angry and follow you, so.
Mm-hmm. It'd be insane.
Oh, shit.
I'm over here trying to open this thing.
I have one down right here. Oh shit, somebody's coming though.
Great, fantastic. Oh, damn, bro. No! My fucking robot is destroying my build.
To your left.
Where were they shooting from? Oh, are they still there?
They're fighting someone else, it seems. Holy Jesus.
Alright. Where is the close? Next closest.
I don't know if you should go to Amber, but there's one right in front of you. It's a little.
Nope. One of those where someone's flying in.
You have to go right or left. Left is a little further, but once it's done closing. Oh, you got time. Just use the thing. Use the ODM gear.
Oh, great.
Okay.
I'm being targeted. Fantastic.
Just try to avoid getting shot because it knocks you on the ground. And if you fall from height, you can die.
Oh, great. You probably need ammo. I should probably grab Here. first. You good on ammo?
Mm-hmm. Storm.
Oh, there might be people above.
Mm-hmm. They're fighting. Building.
Or rift to escape. Rift.
Mm-hmm. We're behind you.
I guess the people hunting me out on the island. Oof. Guess I've been hunted as somebody in a grapple. Coño.
I missed.
Where the fuck he at?
Kill your bot. Their other friend is coming too. There's another guy. That's basically the point.
Oh man. I'm getting off.
Okay, my love. Get some rest. I need to get some rest too, but I'm probably gonna stay on a bit more.
Okay. Have a good night.
You too, my love. I'm all purple. Mm-hmm. Mm.